Greetings and welcome to the latest edition of Political Empire. I'm your host, Kim Pearsall with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. We're going to be talking about local war chest going into the election coming up on November 6th. And then we're going to talk about a Riverside County supervisor's election that's going on with our own correspondent, Jeff Horseman, who covers Riverside County for the paper. So first, war chests. The latest campaign finance reports are in, and some candidates are seeing a healthy flow of cash into their campaigns, while others, well, they aren't. In the race for San Bernardino County Supervisor, challenger James Ramos raised about $260,000, while the incumbent Neil Derry raised about $81,000 for the period between July 1st and September 30th. Ramos also outpaces Derry in terms of spending. He spent $125,000 compared to Derry, who spent about $41,000. In terms of Riverside County's race for supervisor, Bob Buster, incumbent, raised more than $120,000 and spent nearly $86,000 from July to October. And his challenger, Kevin Jeffries, raised more than $87,000 and spent almost $27,000 in the same period. And speaking of Buster and Jeffries in their race for Riverside County supervisor, we're going to talk a little bit about that race and the fact that it's been pretty contentious. Here to tell us more about the candidates, incumbent Bob Buster and former Assemblyman Kevin Jeffries, is our Riverside County reporter, Jeff Horseman. Jeff, thanks so much for being here today. Tell us a little bit about who's running and what this district is and what's going on.
Well, they're running for the right to represent the 1st District on the 5-member Board of Supervisors. The 1st District has about 430,000 people, covers most of the city of Riverside, as well as Lake Elsinore, Wildomar, and Canyon Lake. Now, Bob Buster is a citrus farmer. He has been on the board since 1993, which makes him the longest-serving supervisor. Kevin Jeffries, who has a company that owns and manages properties, has been in Sacramento since 2006 and cannot run again for Assemblyman due to term limits.
Now, what are they running on? What are the big issues?
Well, as expected, Bob Buster is talking about his record as an incumbent, most notably in changing the county's public employee pension system, and he also claims a leadership effort to bring a medical school to UC Riverside. Kevin Jeffries is talking about how he'll be a advocate for small business, cutting red tape, cutting through the bureaucracy. He's been mentioned a lot his stance against as an anti-tax crusader and how he's been endorsed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association.
Right, and I mentioned in the intro that it's gotten pretty contentious. How testy is testy for this race?
I would say pretty testy. There's been a lot of rhetoric back and forth. Kevin Jeffries has been trying to portray Bob Buster as kind of unresponsive, out of touch, a career politician with this fat cat salary and pension. And Bob Buster, on the other hand, is trying to say, Kevin Jeffries, he's trying to masquerade as a small businessman, but really he's a failed Sacramento politician. And both sides are actually saying that the other is lying about their record, that they're distorting their votes, that they're just out and out lying. And we actually have a clip, I think, from Monday's debate in which kind of an innocuous question about a fire fee became a chance for them to kind of tee off on one another.
Nice. We'll take a look at that clip.
Of course, this was a state tax, not a county tax. I oppose a retroactive tax, but my opponent has even failed to show what additional funding can go to state fire in place instead of this tax. And he's failed to really deal with the future. Why are homes being put in the way of firefighters such that we have the tragedy of Esperanza Fire, where we lost 5 firefighters to a structure that was outlying, should have never been there. And we need to do the planning, that's what I've been trying to do, so that we can minimize, particularly the harm to firefighters and to residents from these terrible wildfires. We know where they go generally, and we need to start planning. And my opponent has failed to deal with that issue, and he's failed to stop the tax.
Mr. Jeffries, 30-second rebuttal.
Yeah, I'm going to spend most of the night correcting the supervisor on his errors. One, I did lead the statewide effort to repeal the tax. Couldn't get it through because of partisan politics. Two, I actually did support Senator Kehoe's bill to limit the type of development and the settings of developments that occur in rural high fire zone areas. That was signed by the governor, so the statements you just heard from Mr. Buster were absolutely false.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for, giving us a little heads up on what's going on with the Riverside County Supervisor's race, for going to that debate, having that clip for us, and for keeping voters informed. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Political Empire. Hopefully we've given you a little taste of the Riverside County Supervisor's race, as well as how much and where people are getting their money from in these races. Thanks so much.